Hey everybody, welcome back to the Book Corner. I'm Hermione, author and lover of good literature, and happy Thursday. I'm happy today because I don't have to take apart the milkshake machine, but tonight I gotta make sure that I get enough sleep because I have to refill it tomorrow morning. So I am not looking forward to that because Tuesday, I did a little boo-boo that we had to fix before we could take the photos. So, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope all of you are having a great Thursday. If you're off, I hope you guys are enjoying your day off away from stress and bosses that are odd. But today's video, I am going to be talking about a subgenre of science fiction known as dystopian. And the reason I'm talking about dystopian is because it is a fascinating topic to talk about, and it's really popular, it seems, when people believe that whoever is going to become president is authoritarian and reminds them of worlds that they've only read in books. Now, yesterday I bought on Kindle for 99 cents George Orwell's 1984. I also want to read A Brave New World, and I checked out from the library, Kindle edition, 3 books: Animal Farm by George Orwell, The Circle, and The Every. And those are the 4 books that I will be doing reviews on over the course of the next couple of weeks. They only let you check them out for 14 days, but you can have the option of renewing them and stuff. So I couldn't get the written version of Animal Farm. I actually had to get the graphic novel. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be reading Animal Farm on the tablet, and I will be giving you guys a review of that. So, why am I interested in dystopian literature? Because I kind of want to understand a little bit more about where these books came from and all that. And I was actually watching a video, and it does go along with what I have read about the latter months of the 19th century, when everybody was going to be greeting the 20th century with all this hope and optimism that, especially in Britain, that the 20th century was going to be better than the 19th, because in Great Britain, you know, you had the American Revolutionary War, which was still very like connected, I would say, because it was like, it's interesting. It's like you had children that were like in their if they were lucky enough, they were maybe in their 50s. So their great grandparents fought in the American Revolutionary War. That's how close it was. Over in America, you had like maybe great grandparents or great grandparents that fought in the American Revolution. But the thing about in America, especially in America, people were prosperous, and I'm not saying it applied to everyone. Not everybody in America was prosperous, but it was a lot better than it had been, say, 30 years ago, because you had 30 years prior, because you had like the American Civil War and all that. So they were hoping that the 20th century was going to be better, and you kind of had this fertile ground for science fiction. This is why like science fiction is so popular with a lot of people. A lot of people will just read nothing but science fiction. because it envisions a world where everything is better than it has ever been. And the belief was that, diseases were going to be eradicated and technology was going to be so much better and all that. I think that's also why shows like The Jetsons was real popular, because the Jetsons lived in the future without all this technology, and they never had to worry about food and all that. So science fiction was very popular. Then something happened that caused all the optimism to go out the window. And that was the First and Second World Wars, the Spanish influenza outbreak, and of course the Lusitania, the Titanic, all those great ships sunk, and took a lot of optimism with them. Their optimism sunk with the ships. It was, but then we had the Roaring '20s, and in 1925 a silent movie came out that I just discovered yesterday. I've never watched it, but they released 25 additional minutes of found footage. It was called Metropolis, and it was apparently is classified as dystopian media, and I don't really understand what it's about. It's got this android that becomes a woman, and everyone's bowing down and worshiping her. But it's interesting because, as far as I know of, this is the first time that dystopian anything was released. Now, I probably am wrong, and I hope I am wrong, but you had Metropolis, and then you had others. And then, of course, we all thought that, everything was going to be great, and then the Great Depression happened 4 years after Metropolis came out. So everybody was living in this very depressed, very kind of they didn't know what was going on. People offered help, like Al Capone opened up a soup kitchen, which is now a parking lot. So you had this belief that there's no way in the world things could possibly get any better. But yeah, so you had World War I, then you had the Great Depression, and then you had World War II. And World War II really, really just brought this fertile ground for dystopian literature, especially with the Atomic Age and all that. Now, I'm going to really do a lot more research of take it back. I'm going to find out when the first dystopian book came out. Because I'm interested. Alright. Okay, so apparently it was, I can't pronounce it, and it was published between 1920 and 1921, and it's considered the first modern dystopian novel. It was actually, so it was called We. Wow. I have never heard that book. We. Yeah. Okay, so it says, We is about a totalitarian state where people live in conformity and harmony, and where there's no privacy, emotions are discouraged, and people walk in a mathematical precision. The novel is considered to have influenced the emergence of the dystopian genre as a literary form, and has been a precursor to much of the dystopian fiction that has been written since. We inspired other dystopian novels, including George Orwell's 1984 and Aldous Huxley's Brave New World in 1931. The history of dystopian literature can be traced back to the 19th century and the French Revolution of 1789, and was a reaction to the prospect of mob rule leading to dictatorship. So I definitely get where that comes from, because that actually is what happened in the French Revolution. It was mob mentality, fueled by very real things that were going on, and the mob lifted up one person. So yeah, so I did not know that. I had never heard of the novel We, and I'm definitely going to have to check that out. But I'll read that after I read the other ones I've already gotten. But dystopian literature is fascinating because it gives people a window into a world that they can safely explore without actually being personally affected by it. But the lessons that these books hand out is that, yeah, if your life does not suck. Your life is absolutely so much better than the world that we wrote. Now there is a book that came out several years ago. Emma Watson was in called The Circle by, I think it's David Eger, and I did not know this book existed. I knew the movie existed because I saw the trailer for it, but I didn't know it was based on a book. And as you're reading the synopsis for the entire book, or like, they're kind of like breaking it down so you don't have to read the book. The ending was just way too scary. It was a dystopian kind of world where everybody willingly, I'm thinking, oh my God, willingly allows themselves to be monitored. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, seriously? You willingly do this because it's technology and people love it. And I'm like, I don't love technology that much. Like, oh my God. And it's just scary because they just willingly hand over their privacy, like the newest thing, like, oh my God. And it's already too late. People are like so addicted to social media and their cell phone. I remember I was 2 weeks without my cell phone. Did not miss it. And then of course Every is probably just as scary as The Circle, because it's like online marketplace and stuff. And someone's commented in the reviews down below on Amazon. They're talking about Amazon. I think he's talking about a lot of different kinds of places like Temu and TikTok marketplace and all that type of stuff. But I don't think that we're living in a dystopian society, but we are living in a society that the idea of privacy is a novel concept. It's something that old-timers believed in, and that's just like, it's not how the world is now. You can't have privacy anymore. You gotta share everything about you. It's like, no, I don't want to share everything about moi. But it's interesting. The two books are interesting because it has a society that has willingly handed over their privacy for, you got to share everything, and it causes like mental breakdown, and it's just a sad thing. And these novels that come out, and I was telling my brother about this book that I checked out called The Circle, and about how it had been set to be destroyed in this, I think, North or South Dakota school district. I gotta look at it. I discovered The Circle as a book. MSNBC released a little film entitled To Be Destroyed, and of course I had to check it out because, and I was telling him, I said, I know you love technology and stuff, and this is what the book is about. And he was like, I wouldn't be comfortable with something be able to read my mind. I said, yeah, but this. She was like, wow, wouldn't it be weird if you it's like she was totally into the whole idea of like robbing people of everything. Like, you couldn't even have private thoughts to her. They're like, oh yeah, can't have those private thoughts. We got to create technology that takes that away from someone. And it's now it's going into this dystopian society. This is basically the last little click before you enter this dystopian society, where you can't even have thoughts without you getting probably getting into trouble. But it is so scary that you have people that come up with all this technology and they use it to strip you of your free will and all. And these are what these books like warn us of, is how quickly can we get into this kind of society where you don't even have rights over your own thoughts. And that's scary. But dystopian books about dystopian societies are interesting, and they are definitely a warning. Now, as for the movie, people said that the movie was not good. The book was actually better. Come on, guys. Everyone knows the books are better than the movies. But yeah. So I am going to, I actually am on X, formerly known as Twitter, and I am going to be basically doing what that other woman did. She was basically ranting and raving about this character. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start off with 1984. No, I own that book. Animal Farm. And I'm going to just basically put that on X. I'm not exactly sure. I probably won't do it here on YouTube because it's just easier to do it on X. But I'm going to do that and just kind of talk about how I felt with each chapter and all that wonderful stuff. So I went in here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I also want to leave with this little thing by saying that I'm going to be talking about different genres and subgenres of the genres. So, yeah. So I will see you guys around. Bye.